I'd just like to recall in your mind where we are standing in our text and looking at Romans 9 to 11. Where did we come from? In the beginning, we had these 4 foundations that Paul led for building then his theology on Israel. The first one was Paul's love for Israel. The second is Israel's riches. The third one is God's sovereignty. And the fourth one is the only way to salvation. And then in Romans 10 verse 14, he builds on this 4-fold foundation. And the first point he makes is preachers that come to Israel have to be sent. They cannot just come out of their own motivation. They have to be sent. The second is, how do we know that preachers are sent? How do we know that they're genuine preachers? They have to come with a good message of comfort to Israel. And then he looks at the people of Israel and says, but it doesn't work. They don't believe. And he realizes, yes, it was already Moses who said, I will not bring Israel to faith by preaching at them, but they will become jealous of a no nation, of a foolish nation. I will provoke them to jealousy. And Paul actually is proud of being he boasts of being the apostle to the Gentiles, because he hopes that by preaching to the Gentiles, by helping them to believe in the one true living God, he will provoke his own people to jealousy and save some of them. Now we wouldn't be in Israel if that would be all fine and fit. Here, never ever things really fit. Always somebody comes and says, yes, but. And in this case, it's the prophet Isaiah. And I read to you from Romans 10 verse 20. And actually, Paul is quoting Isaiah. Still, however, in spite of all of this, Isaiah dares to say, I was found by those who did not look for me. I became visible to those who never asked for me. I said, here I am to a nation that was not called by my name. And to Israel, at the same time, he says, all day long, I've stretched out my hands to a chosen, prepared people that is disobedient and contradicts, who walk in a way that is not good, following their own thoughts. I have to take you here a little bit into Greek and Hebrew, because the Apostle Paul here, being a native Greek speaker, but quoting a Hebrew prophet, does something in his language, in Greek and Hebrew, that we are hardly able to translate into English or German. He uses different words here for the same word, nation or people. In Greek, it's the word ethnos. In Hebrew, it's the word goy on the one hand, and he designates those who are, he says here, who never asked for me, who are not even able to ask for me because they don't know how. They are real pagans. They are ethnos. They are goy. They are non-Jews. And he says, by those who did not even know how to call upon my name, by those I was found. And the ones, and now he uses another term there in Greek, it's laos, and in Hebrew it's the word am. And actually, if you can do word study on these words, it fits throughout the whole New Testament and the Hebrew Bible. The word or laos, again, nation or people we would say, but we don't hear these differences in our languages. It's a prepared nation. It's a chosen people. It's a nation that God invested into it for 2,000 years to put His word into them, to put the right thoughts into their minds. Over generations, He formed them. So He says, this chosen people, this prepared nation that should know, I stretched my hand out to them all day long, and they're disobedient and still contradict. You know how this tension is there and how this tension can be grasped? I was found by those who are goy, who are an ethnos. And those whom I prepared, the laos, the they still contradict. They're still rebellious. The question that he asked in Romans 11, verse 1, now, consequently, I have to ask, has the one true and only living God, the God of Israel, has He not rejected His people? It's the most logical thing that comes out of this situation in this text. It's a huge tension. It's a hurting tension that we have to feel here in the text. And the most logical answer would be, yes, He has rejected His people. Paul's putting up, didn't He reject it? Isn't that the logical thing that comes out of it?